Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my new or updated patrons, Eager1, Jim H, and especially John G. Thank you very much for choosing to support the channel. Just an update, 44,800 people have signed the petition to try to get Biden to acknowledge Tesla. So Tesla community, job well done so far. Let's keep it going. The Tesla PR debate is back into the forefront. So let me know below, do you think Tesla should spend some money on PR, yes or no? Stephen Mark Ryan is a staunch no. In the other corner, we have Gary Black, who has been saying yes for quite some time. Gary is arguing that Tesla needs to take a long-term approach to fighting back some of this FUD so it doesn't have demand issues in the future. Stephen is essentially saying Tesla will have so much demand in the future, it's not going to matter what the media is saying because people will know the truth. Everybody they know, friend, family, coworker, will have or have been in a Tesla and know what the reality is. On this one, I agree with Stephen. Spend that money on ramping the company, making the products better and innovating, doing what Tesla does best. Let the media say whatever it's going to say. It's going to do it no matter whether you have a PR department or not. Just a quick update from the 10.10 FSD beta release notes. You can see they've already disabled rolling stop functionality in all FSD profiles. It's a pretty awesome place to be when your recall takes a matter of hours to fix. Go ahead and pause the screen if you would like to read the rest. Ford has announced additional EV spending to what they have already said, accelerating EV spending by as much as $20 billion over the next 5 to 10 years. This would be on top of the $30 billion Ford has already committed to EVs through 2025. This new plan will include a reworked organizational chart, including hiring of an unspecified number of engineers specializing in disciplines relative to the new company, like battery chemistry, artificial intelligence, and EV software, following Tesla's lead as they should. Potential big news here. As part of this reorganization, the company has evaluated spinning off a small portion of its EV business to capture some of the immense value investors are giving EV startups. The potential would involve lower volume models, so think higher priced vehicles that don't sell as much, allowing the company to focus its efforts on mass market EVs. Another cool note from the article, it's been reported that Jim Farley has taken to sharing news articles about Tesla with others internally at Ford. He also said he's learned a lot from watching Elon transform Tesla from a struggling startup to a high-profit global EV leader, and he says he admires, frankly, the difficulties they had and the way they managed the difficulties into success that they had. They're now making more than $10,000 per vehicle because of their scale. I like that kind of business. So you love to see this from Ford going all in on EVs, but they still have this to deal with. Farley sees gasoline-fueled vehicles as a core part of the company for many years to come and still intends to invest enough to keep it competitive with rivals. Spending money on ICE vehicles is only going to feel like a sunk cost when it's becoming clearer and clearer by the day EVs are the future. This is an unenviable spot for all of legacy. Along those lines, here's 20 seconds of the ever entertaining Jim Cramer.
Even after all these years, Tesla doesn't have much meaningful competition. Its cars sell well everywhere. The fact that Elon Musk can sell out in China and will almost certainly sell out in Berlin is nothing short of incredible. I think he's the best there is. Yet right now, his stock is down nearly 300 points from its high. That's a very good level to buy. A story leaked out today about Ford accelerating its EV plans. They need $10 to $20 billion to get where Musk is now. But where will Musk be then?
You've probably seen this by now, but Tesla China analysts said 19,000 domestic sales for Tesla January 2022. Looking at this simple chart, if you look at the blue rows, that's going to be the first month of each quarter, the best comparison that we'll have. As you can see, 15,000 so far is going to be the high watermark for any first month of a quarter. So 19,000 would be a very strong start to the year. And not too far from now, we'll have the export data to see how January shaped up for the month. In case you missed this story, basically a teenager started tracking Elon's jets and posted a Twitter account that automatically tracked where Elon was when he was flying. Elon reached out to him asking to take it down because it was a security risk. Long story short, the teen tried to negotiate with Elon, eventually asking for $50,000 to buy out the site and take it down. Elon didn't feel comfortable paying and ultimately ended up blocking the teenager. And then finally, this kid said he would delete the account in return for an internship at Tesla. So yeah, overall, I think it's shady what the kid did. Elon reached out nicely via a DM asking him to take the site down because it is a security risk. That's a serious threat. However, there's a small part of me that understands this kid was innovating and he just wanted to be compensated for what he had built. And this does actually matter because this account has over 300,000 followers and it is still active as far as I can tell. Elon's reasoning for wanting to take it down, it is a security risk. I don't love the idea of being shot by a nutcase. I have to say, what this kid actually built, tracking Elon's private jet with a bot, is actually fairly impressive. However, not condoning it, overall not a good look for this kid. Tesla has met and exceeded its requirements for hiring in the state of New York. New York required Tesla to create more than 2,000 jobs to the state and 1,460 of those at Gigafactory 2 by the end of 2021. Tesla had 1,636 Gigafactory 2 employees at the end of the year, and Tesla employed 2,265 workers in the state, which includes those at various Tesla service centers and retail locations, exceeding the 2,000 requirement. Adam Schefter had a tweet with some Teslas in it, cars leaving the stadium to drive around DC, Maryland, and Virginia to hand out Washington Commanders merchandise. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, who are the Washington Commanders? The football team finally has decided to create a new name, not the football team. They will be known as the Washington Commanders, but we have at least 10 plus Model Ys driving around the city handing out free gear. There have been heightened reports lately of phantom braking. Yes, this is a new article, so I wanted to throw it out to you guys. Tesla owners, have you been experiencing more phantom braking? If you have a look at this chart from EV volumes, the battery electric vehicle share of passenger vehicles, this is a percentage of new sales by quarter. So if you look at Q4 2021, you can see that China and Europe are leading the way, right around 15% of new car sales that are battery electric. This is ahead of the worldwide average of 9%, and sadly, the United States and Canada are lagging behind at 4.3% for Q4. ROW stands for rest of the world, coming in at 1.3%. Remember, this is not the number of EVs as a total of all cars on the road or the fleet. This is just the percent of new car sales for the quarter. A new note on Panasonic, Tesla, and the 4680 form factor. We heard that Panasonic was supposed to start trial production in Japan in April of this year, but a time and place of the mass production still has not been decided. Panasonic's CFO said Tesla has put in an extremely strong request for the 4680, so when we're actually able to deliver it, we plan to put top priority on Tesla. A Panasonic spokeswoman said the company's business with Tesla accounted for 60% of the revenue in Panasonic's energy business, and shipments of the EV batteries to Tesla were interrupted by logjams at ports in recent months. The burning question with this whole situation is still what's going to be inside this 4680 form factor that Panasonic makes for Tesla. What level of Tesla's proprietary ingredients will Panasonic be using? Nobody really knows for sure. Elon has donated $2.5 million to Brownsville Independent School District. The money will be used to buy technology equipment like interactive panels, desktop computers, iPads, and laptops. Here's something to think about for us and NHTSA by Russell Parker. If Tesla software is good enough to detect stop signs and are being forced to come to a complete stop in all situations, why doesn't NHTSA mandate that all cars have this technology now that it exists? It'll prevent humans from breaking law and make driving safe. Now look, I obviously understand the counter argument. This can't happen right now with FSD in beta form, but long term in the future, it's something to think about. I want to share a clip from this video shared by Gail Alfar on Twitter about an underrated aspect of Tesla opening up a business in an area.
For every direct job inside the Tesla plant, they will spin off an additional 10 jobs.
Tony Bennett heads up the Texas Association of Manufacturers and keeps a close eye on the effect companies like Tesla have across the state.
Very high jobs multiple, constantly turning and churning new jobs as the community grows. This is a very smart way to grow your economy in any community.
Every company and industry has a different job multiplier. So Bennett says Tesla's growth will affect employees at a lot of other companies in our area.
Elon tweeted, Starlink high performance antenna is now available. This is twice the area of our standard phased array with broader scan angle. SpaceX standard antenna production rises rapidly this year, so those with orders shouldn't have to wait long. Starlink can only support a limited number of users in an area, so best to order early. Everyday Astronaut said he tried to order it today and it was saying he couldn't use an existing account or email. Is it not currently possible to have multiple dishes per account? Elon said, thanks for letting me know. This will be fixed soon. Heading to that link, order now to reserve deliveries to start in Q2 of this year. Bigger antenna and more throughput designed specifically for high demand users. Starlink Premium helps to ensure bandwidth for critical operations even during times of peak network usage. Starlink Premium users can now expect download speeds of 150 to 500 megabits per second and latency of 20 to 40 milliseconds, enabling high throughput connectivity for small offices, storefronts, and super users across the globe. No long-term contracts, no data caps, no exclusivity requirements. So Starlink continuing to improve and innovate. Link below if you want to check it out. In case you missed it, Waymo basically sued the California DMV in order to keep its robotaxi safety data secret. The immediate issue is whether Waymo can hide safety-related information from the public by designating it as a trade secret. Waymo also wants to keep secret any descriptions of crashes involving its driverless cars. Waymo argues that revealing the information will cause damage to Waymo and undermine its investments into automated driving tech, but it will also have a chilling effect across the industry. Potential market participants interested in deploying autonomous vehicles in California will be dissuaded from investing valuable time and resources developing this tech if there is a demonstrated track record of their trade secrets being released. Speaking of a track record, Waymo has developed a bit of its own. With 24 crashes, it accounted for the most autonomous mode crashes in California last year out of its peers, though no serious injuries or fatalities. Basically, the California DMV is just throwing up its hands, leaving it up to the courts, and I understand it. This is a tough one. If it is an actual trade secret, I wouldn't want that to be public information. However, if it's just safety data, the public needs to have that. So we'll see how the courts handle this case. A lot of people were getting hyped up for this, the Polestar 2 Arctic Circle EV, outfitted for snow driving. Sadly, it will not be a production vehicle. This is just a one-off, kind of a showpiece type of item. If you're interested in how they souped up this Polestar 2, I will link the article below. An update from Cruise, they are opening up driverless cars in San Francisco to the public. Opening a sign-up page on our site today so you can get a driverless ride soon and free for now. We also learned from GM's earnings, which we'll talk about in a moment, the SoftBank Vision Fund initially invested $900 million in Cruise in 2018. They agreed to invest an additional $1.35 billion when we started operating fully driverless cars. And they have officially hit that milestone. I'll send you guys off today with a preview of GM's earnings. I have not had a chance to listen to the call yet. I do plan to, so stay tuned for that. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.
And it's up, Becky, because of better than expected results. The guidance was very encouraging, better than many analysts were expecting. Let's start first off in terms of the results and then the expectation. They did beat the street, $1.35 versus $1.19, but it's the guidance that people are focused on this morning. GM expecting to earn EBIT adjusted between $13 and $15 billion this year. The consensus was a little under $13 billion. So when you look at that number, you sit there and say, okay, you're going to have increasing volumes up anywhere from 20 to 25% as the chip supply improves. And you're also going to be seeing the company looking at where do they go from here. By the way, they have decided that for now, they are not reinstating the dividend. Why? Because they're plowing more money into electric vehicles. And the company yesterday talked at great length about what the plan is when it comes to EV investments. Remember, they've already committed $35 billion through 2025. Last night, they said, we're going to accelerate and increase that investment. Now, they haven't said how much, but they are going to be doing that this year. That includes pulling forward plans for a third electric truck plant. They're going to be adding that, naming a location relatively soon. Also adding a fourth EV battery plant. And then there's the Chevy Silverado EV. Remember, it was a little over 3 weeks ago that they unveiled the Silverado EV. And at the time they said, look, we're opening up for reservations. How many have they collected in less than a month? 110,000. Now, skeptics will say, look, it's $100 refundable. A lot of people just go ahead and put down that kind of a reservation. But that does indicate that there's strong interest in the Silverado EV. Remember, those deliveries start next year, but it's the ramp up to those deliveries. And this is the real big volume vehicle that is going to be the linchpin to their growth in EVs over the next couple of years. That ramp up is behind them saying that General Motors expects to sell about 400,000 electric vehicles between 2022 and 2023. Guys, let me give you a point of reference. They sold fewer than 25,000 electric vehicles last year. So we're talking about a big ramp up in terms of EV sales.